Right, everyone, full steam ahead. A huge, monumental game tomorrow away to Livingston, the Theatre of Screams, the Tony Macaroni Arena, an arena, if it is even an arena, that has not been very kind to Celtic over the last few years. And it simply has to be this time. So let's get the elephant in the room out of the way, early doors. Celtic's recent record against Livingston, away from home in West Lothian. We've actually played 4 times there in recent times. It seems a lot more than 4, which probably says a lot for how vivid those games have been and how much they've stuck with us all. We haven't won any of them. There's no good way to put that. We've lost 1 and we've drawn the other 3. Brendan Rodgers kicked it off. Brendan Rodgers is all-firing Celtic side, couldn't even win away to newly promoted Livingston. Neil Lennon had 3 bites at the cherry and he couldn't win in any of those games. He lost 2-0 and then he had 2 2-2 draws, with one of those Desmonds being a last-minute equaliser. It really is a tough place to go. Is it the pitch? We'll talk about that in a wee minute. This is going to sound really simplistic and really, dinosaur-y. A dinosaur opinion, if you will. But I honestly think in these games that Celtic haven't matched Livingston's application and desire to win the game. I think from memory, quite a few of these games away to Livingston have come right off the back of European games. Obviously, that is going to be the case this weekend as well. We have to match their intensity. We have to win the battle. We have to earn the right to play. All these horrible things that I usually think are just daft throwaway comments, and they probably are, and I've probably just thrown a few in, but I really think we have to battle to win this match because it's going to be really difficult, and I hope that the players realise this. To be fair to the team and to Ange, they've shown absolutely no signs of complacency so far. And judging from Ange's comments so far, after the game on Thursday night, he is not expecting to turn up and get an easy 3 points against Livingston. They may be bottom of the league, they may not have won a game so far this season, but he thinks that's possibly even more reason for why it could be tough on Sunday, because they're seeking that first victory. I'm going to pick my team in this video, but before that, we're going to get the thoughts of a man who knows Livingston very well. He's a top guy. Callum Brown, his name is, and he does quite a lot to do with Livingston. First of all, he's a Livi fan. He does official media for Livingston. He's the LFC Live commentator, and on top of all of that, in case he needed a wee bit more Livi in his life, he does the Talk Livi podcast as well. So he's well placed to give us an insight into this current Livingston team and the game itself against Celtic. Now, we were hoping to do one of the traditional chats that we do on the channel where we actually speak to each other. The internet wasn't allowing that. Don't know if it was my end or his, but he did send me some clips of him answering questions that I had for him. So first off, Callum, tell us all about Livi's first 5 games of the Cinch Premiership season.
Our start to the season has been poor. There's no getting away from that. I think it comes down to a couple of factors. Firstly, it has been a tough run, I would say. Rangers away to start the season. Ibrox, first time with fans back in. Difficult. Very, very difficult. Probably should have got a point against Aberdeen. Obviously, a late goalkeeping error cost us that one, unfortunately. But, the goalkeeper Stryek's been different class since. But we should have had a point in that game. Motherwell probably could have got a point from on another day. Difficult opponent though. They've started the season very well, as you can see from the table. And then Hibs away again. Very, very difficult place to go. So those 4, probably a tough start. Probably all sides that, I'd probably say that are going to finish above Livingston this season. I think that's fair to say. All much higher budgets than us. And then Dundee away, a bit more positive. They probably should have won the game though. And we've played better this season, but got the point, but got the clean sheet as well. So yeah, it's not been a brilliant start whatsoever. And if you're a Celtic fan, you're probably wanting to play Livingston at the minute. They've got 1 point from the first 5 games. But we had 2 points from our first 5 last season, so Ended up finishing 6th. So, you never know. It has been a poor start, been a tough start though on paper, and hopefully we can kick on. Obviously, again, a lot of this down to new players as well. 15 in, 15 out, or something like that. This season, a few key players missing. Guthrie, Robinson have all left. So, not making excuses in terms of the injuries and things like that. But yeah, it's been a tough start. But once we have a full squad back, and the players have started to gel, I think we'll be okay.
So not a great start for Livi this season, but it does always seem to be different when they take on Celtic at home. What about that recent run of matches against us?
Yeah, we've had a brilliant record against Celtic over the last 3 or 4 seasons since we were promoted back in 2018. 3 draws and a victory, of course. That memorable Lyndon Dykes goal in there, Scott Robinson. We've lost them. I think they were big in what we tried to do against Celtic. We got the ball forward at the earliest opportunity. Sort of held the ball up, played off second balls, things like that. Try to win free kicks, slow the game down. But in terms of a defensive aspect, I'd say we just defend our box very well. We make it difficult for Celtic. We press them. Try and close the spaces out wide. I've watched on a few occasions Celtic wingers and fullbacks at Celtic Park in particular when the pitch is bigger. Absolutely annihilate us. Particular, he's not there anymore, but Jeremy Frimpong had ripped us a new one at Celtic Park a few times. So it's just trying to be compact, trying to get in Celtic's faces, and not give them any time. Show them respect, of course, but try and make them play our game, which Celtic and Rangers don't really like. They want it to be pretty. They want to get the ball down, but try and force them into our style of play, and you never know what can happen.
So a few interesting things there said by Callum. The first one was that physical presence Livi have had up front in the past. It's mainly been Dykes for I think 3 of those 4 games, and most recently when Dykes left about a year ago, it was Emmanuel Thomas who was the kind of thorn in our side in that horrible 2-2 draw last season, the one when Scott Brown was sent off and I think we had about 8 or 9 players missing. He was a real threat that day. I don't know exactly who their threat is going to be up front this time, but whoever it is, whether it's a pacey threat or a physical threat, the Celtic backline have got to stand up. I feel much more secure with a big physical presence like Carter Vickers at the back than I would if it was maybe Welsh and Starfelt together. Nothing against those 2 guys, but I quite like the look of Carter Vickers. So we need to be strong in that way and keep them penned in. We've allowed Livingston to get out too quickly. And Callum's right, they do put the ball long really quickly. They don't kind of try and kid on to anyone that they're going to really try and pass the ball about. They're a decent side at passing the ball, but they will put the ball over you and they'll put the ball into strikers, and we've got to deal with that on Sunday. Set pieces are an obvious one. Again, thinking off the top of my head, those goals we've conceded in those games against Livi, a lot of them have been from set pieces. We still look so nervous with set pieces, and it's costing us in big games. Cost us again in Spain. It cost us at Ibrox. It cost us at Tynecastle at the start of the season. We've got to be much stronger, and it's got to start on Sunday against Livingston. Any opportunity they get to put the ball into the box, they will. And finally, the point he made about Livi being happy to defend their own box, I think probably an occasion in the past when we've gone away to Livingston, we've kind of just put the ball into the box at times. And I really hope that the likes of Jota, Rogic and Abada, who for me are going to be the 3 key players for us on Sunday, I hope they've got a bit of invention in their mind. They're all capable of it. They're all cracking players. I hope they don't just put the ball into the box for the sake of it, because Ayeti's not the kind of guy who's going to tower above a defender and head it into the net. I don't think that's his kind of game. Watch him score a header now. Hopefully that is the case, but I don't think that is his kind of game. We've got to have invention. Rogic is going to be probably the most key out of those 3 players I mentioned. I just feel like he's brilliant in tight spaces. He was so good in tight spaces against Betis on Thursday, and he's going to have to be the same on Sunday at Livingston, because it's not a big pitch, it's not a quick pitch. We're going to need those magical feet from Tom Rogic to unlock the defence. What about the artificial surface then, the elephant in the room, if you will? Is that the main reason for Celtic struggles in West Lothian?
Yeah, looking at the argument regarding the pitch, I think it's, to answer your question, too simplistic to say it's purely down to the artificial surface. You know, I'm not gonna sit and pretend that it doesn't give us an advantage. Of course it does. But again, you could argue that, you know, Celtic's massive stadium, 60,000 fans, you know, a top surface, maybe that gives them an advantage when we go away from home. But, you know, definitely it does give us an advantage. You know, it's difficult to play on, you could argue. But, you know, other than Steve Clarke's Kelly side, I don't really think Celtic have struggled there. Don't think they've struggled at Hamilton ever. You know, I was looking at recent results the last couple of seasons. You know, they've been putting 3 or 4 past Hamilton at their place. So I don't really think it's all down to the pitch. I think Livingston deserve some credit. And again, you know, coming away from that, you look at some of the results at Celtic Park as well. A 0-0 in there, and another 0-0 last season. So, you know, we're certainly doing something right. So I think, you know, as much as some of it can be down to the pitch, I don't think all of that is really fair towards Livingston. I think we probably do deserve a little bit of credit.
Thankfully, that's the only plastic pitch that we've got left in the Premiership. I can't say I'm too gutted about that. Let's just go there and get 3 points and move on at this stage, Celtic. What about the team then that we're going to field? It's always difficult to work out a Celtic team when we've got so many injuries. Ange hasn't met media either. I don't think they're doing a pre-match press conference unless he did it kind of joined on after the game in Spain. So we don't have a real idea of who's back, who's fit, who's fighting for a place in the team. But we can kind of take a rough stab at it. Abada will surely be back. He was missing for religious reasons, so you would assume that there'd be no reason for him not to be back against Livingston. Callum McGregor maybe too, although something tells me he might miss more than one game. Giakoumakis, our new signing, the Greek striker, hoping he's not too far away from making his debut, although next Thursday against Wraith Rovers kind of seems like a more obvious one for him to make his first appearance or first start in. So I'm kind of guessing a little, but this is a team that I think we could see on Sunday. No surprise to see Joe Hart in nets. Now, back four, the same back four that played against Betis. This goes for the whole team, but I think I would like to see a bit more of rotation, some fresh legs in perhaps, but I just don't think it's a luxury we have at the moment because we're so short in numbers. In terms of that back four, Ralston, Carter-Vickers, Starfelt, Juranovic. I know a lot of people might be calling out for Montgomery to start at left back, and I think he is the best left back at the club. But I just think that having Montgomery coming off the bench as an attacking option, as a left winger, could be a really important thing. When you consider that Jota was knackered after 65, 70 minutes on Thursday night, and we don't have any other real attacking options on the bench. I think Ewan Henderson was the only one in Spain. I think it's important that we have Montgomery as an option to come off the bench. I think he has to be our left back going forward, but for this game, I'm happy to have Juranovic playing back out there. He seems to do fine there. Obviously don't want him there long term, but he seems to do fine there for now. Ralston at right back. In terms of the midfield, if we're assuming that McGregor isn't going to be back, I think we're looking at the same midfield. Sorrell, Turnbull and Rogic. James McCarthy just clearly isn't there yet. Abada obviously back. Huge to have him back. Jota on the left and Ajeti up front. As I say, you'd like to have a bit more rotation there, but it is what it is. The team that I've picked there and the team that Ange no doubt will pick will be good enough to get 3 points at Livingston, and they have to do it. Personally, I'm glad Christopher Julian isn't around. Nothing against the big man, I do miss you, but playing away to Livingston isn't exactly your forte. That's it really, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video today. I am being let off the leash, so to speak, tomorrow. I don't know if that's the right term to use or the right phrase to use, but I won't be on the reaction after the Livingston game. We're leaving that up to the two McGinleys, Ryan and John. I'm actually going to the game, looking forward to it. May have a little bit of footage from the game for you in a video maybe on Monday, but in terms of the reaction, it will be Ryan and John. Be nice to them. They're good people. Hopefully they're chatting about a Celtic win. God, it would be nice to finally end this hoodoo away to Livingston. Everyone, remember to subscribe to the channel. We got a good number of people subbing yesterday. Really want to keep going with the numbers. So if you're watching this and you've just realised I'm not subbed to those legends, then why not change it? Make it happen. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll speak to you soon.